rocking with the gente on YouTube, man. Thank you guys for tapping back in, showing love, showing support, all that good stuff. Don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment down under, subscribe if you haven't already. And as you can see through the title and the thumbnail, today we're gonna have one of those videos that is gonna be controversial. We're gonna have a lot of comments, a whole lot of net banging and keyboard warriors, but nonetheless, let's just try to keep it as respectful as possible. So as you guys can see, I'm going to be naming off the hoods in San Jose, the Sureno hoods. I know that there's a Norteño version, so I just wanted to make the Sureno version, you know, show some love, no disrespect. This is just, you know what I mean, like a roll call type thing, just to show some love to the homies. And for the people that have questioned it, I've gotten the question from the start, from the very first month that I made my channel. You can go back and you'll see comments that are like, hey, make a video on the hoods in San Jose, because I do believe that San Jose is one of the cities in Northern California that has more Sureno hoods than most cities in Northern California. So let's just get into it. So I'm going to go from the east to the west. But before I start off with the neighborhoods that are still around and still pushing, still active, I'm going to name off some honorable mentions. The ones that are no longer around, that didn't make it out of the 90s and the early 2000s. First one being from the west side, Barrio Willow Locos. That one was obviously over there on the west side on Willow, Calle Willow, sharing the same vicinity as Clanton. Then you had VST Tokers on the east. And then you had East Side Intrusos, which was originally a small neighborhood from South Central, which later on ended up joining VST, so they became VST Intrusos. And then you had the West Side Criminales, which was also in the same vicinity as SSP, so they ended up, you know, joining SSP. And now for the more commonly known, the more well-known of these days, the hoods that are still active, still kicking, still pushing, still thriving, doing their thing. Like I said, I'm going to start from east to west. Deep East would be the first one, KVT. Right there on Capitol and Story and Capitol, however you want to say it. Specifically on Comar Drive, Comar Vagos 13, right there in the war zone. Right in the middle of BRS, Barrio Rio Seco, Barrio East Side, Eastbound Locals Mob, Capitol Park. You even got the dudes from VNG that go and, you know what I'm saying, do their thing. You got the dudes from Palmas that go do their thing. And just to let it be known right now, everywhere in San Jose on the east is a war zone, so I'm going to be saying war zone a lot. Just a heads up. Next up, we got the homies from VGL's, Vato Gramercy Locals. I just did a spill about them the other day. I think the video is called Norteño Walks Down the Wrong Street or something along those lines. So say you're at the K, you know what I mean, Capitol and Story. Instead of going straight, you hit that right. You go all the way down till you get past the cemetery, and that's where you hit VGL's. That right there is another war zone. You got the Barrio Lockridge Locals. And then you got I think it's called Northern Warrior Soldiers or something like that, which clicked up and became the Warlocks. But I'm pretty sure they're still their own entities, like their own hoods, but they clicked up as one and called it the Warlocks. But you also got the hoods around them, like VNG, Barrio Norte Grande. And I believe there's another Norteño neighborhood in that vicinity, but I don't know what it's called. I don't know if they're really, I don't want to say active like that, but I don't know if they're really, you know, out there like that anymore. So then you hop up out of there, and you go, you know what I mean, hit your GPS, and you hit San Antonio and King, or San Antonio and Jackson. More Heller Street, and that little area Doburn. I know a lot of you have heard of the area if you're from San Jose. SPV, Sur por Vida, the Dukes. Again, another war zone. You got Capitol Park Locals right there. You got the Mayfair dudes, Sanders Block. You got Palmas. You got Barrio 33rd. But at the same time, in the same vicinity, you know what I mean? All you got to do is hit that left on Sunset. You got the homies from P-Dubs. You know what I mean? Shout out to the homies from that Poco Way Locotes gang. Barrio Locotes 13. 1900 block, all that. You know what I mean? Shout out to the homies. Yeah, they're right there, right next to SPV. They obviously go at it with the same people, you know what I mean? Palmas, Sanders Block, Capitol Park Locals, and KO Block. And the thing is, SPV, Pokeway, Comar, they're all in the same little area, same kind of vicinity where, you know what I mean, it all intertwines. That's why all those neighborhoods, the Norteño neighborhoods, are all, you know what I mean, it's all at war right there. It's a little war zone. But then you hop back on Story Road, get on King, hit that right, and you go to Virginia and King. Virginia and 34th Street, you got Barrio Virginia 13. Virginia, they be going at it with Sanders Block, Barrio 33rd, Palmas. Anybody in the vicinity, they kind of go at them too, because it's in that same little area as, I don't know how to explain it, but it's SPV, Pokeway, middle, and then you got Virginia to the left, and you got Colmar to the right, if that makes any sense. And then instead of going westbound, we're going to go southbound towards Tully, and then you're going to see the Valley Palms Apartments on Tully and Lanai. That right there, VSM, Barrios Sureños Malditos. Damn, they're kind of isolated. It's kind of crazy. They're around those neighborhoods, but they're still a little ways down. But they obviously go at it with Palmas, which is their next door neighbors, with KO Block. And then you got Barrio Metal Fair, that's over by Eastridge Mall. But keep in mind, they're all in the same area. So, yes, Metal Fair will, they will take their asses over to the apartments, to Valley Palms, and do their thing. Shout out to the Vicious Paradise. Now we go westbound again, and then you're going to hit a right on McLaughlin. McLaughlin, that's the area that's known to be a Sureno stronghold on the east side. I've heard it be called Little LA or Little Mexico, things like that, because obviously they try to run with the whole Paisa thing, but it is what it is. So right there, you hit the right on McLaughlin and Story, and you're going to see VMLs and VPLs, Barrio Mexicanos Locos and Barrio Peligrosos Locos. They're clicked up, Appian Lane, Genie Avenue, 24th Street, Bonita Park, Martin Park, all that stuff. They go at it with 33rd, Roosevelt Park, and this I think it's called Lotus Street or something like that. Lotus, something along those lines. So rewind. Instead of hitting that right on McLaughlin, you hit that left. You drive down a couple streets, you're gonna see Santee and Winslow. Right there, you hit that left, you're gonna see the Monte Alban Apartments. Monte Alban Apartments, that used to be a Norteño neighborhood. It was called Barrio Monte Alban, but it got taken over by Eastside Clanton. And if it isn't obvious enough, Eastside Clanton, they go at it with Barrio Monte Alban. Whenever, somebody from that neighborhood wants to come around, they go at it with Chicano Pride Gangsters. West Side Mob is down the street. It's a ways, but, the Mob and Clanton, they have their beef that, they do go at it a lot. And right next door to Clanton, you got VTG, Barrio Tamale Gangsters, and Barrio Colonias 13, VCT. That's on Tamale and Crucero, and then Dubert, and then, that's VTG. And then VCT is, I never knew how to say this, so if I butcher this, Spencer, but I think it's called Owsley and Clemens. So those hoods are clicked up, but they have two different neighborhoods, two different areas. So they got, like I said, Tamale has Crucero, Dubert, and then Colonias has McLaughlin Park, Walnut Woods, that the other streets I can't name, Owsley and Clemens. Both those hoods, again, just like Clanton, it's all the same area. Would go at it with, again, CPG, Chicano Pride Gangsters, Barrio Monte Alban. And then this one is the borderline of the east side. This is the last hood, to me at least, that is on the east side. This is going to be Barrio Surtown Intrusos or Intruders Gang. That's over there on Center and Thielen. They obviously, they're, like I said in the very beginning, they started off as the East Side Intrusos and then ultimately became part of Barrio Surtown. Their little area consists of Rock Springs Park and then Kelly Park right there on Rock Springs and Needles. I think their bigger, entities are going to be 12th Street, Capitol Park again. I mean, not Capitol Park, my bad. Chicano Pride Gangsters. They're right by the creek, so there's different people that they got to deal with right there, like the tweaks from, I forgot what it's called, like Walnut. No, not Walnut. Is it Walnut Woods? Something like that. Something along those lines. This one right here might be a little controversial because to me, the way I was taught, the way I was brought up, was center was the dividing line from the east to the west of San Jose. So to me, just to me, and most of the people that I know, this is the beginning of the west side. The first hood would be SCL's, Sureños Crueles Locos. I always have a hard time saying that one. That one's on 12th Street, right? 12th Street and Keys, which is crazy to me because that same vicinity, same area is the same exact hood where a Norteño hood is called Barrio 12th Street. Or I think it's 12th Street Homeboys, one of the two. But yeah, so you can imagine that those two hoods probably, you know what I'm saying, they clash because they share the same stomping grounds. As far as I know, I might be wrong. If I am, let me know in the comments. But that's just what I know, or what I think I know, I should say. And then right next to, you know what I mean, to SCL's, you got Valter Williams Street. Williams Street is, like I said, right next to SCL, so they go at it with 12th Street, Roosevelt Park. What was the other one? I think, oh, Julian Street, I believe. I think even the Mob. I think they go at it with the Mob as well, the West Side Mob. But the last like 4 or 5 neighborhoods that I mentioned, they're all kind of in the same area too, like McLaughlin, right there, Center, Keys, 12th Street, all that. It's kind of all similar. So again, yes, it's a war zone, but there's a lot. That presence right there, like I said, McLaughlin is well known to be a Sureno stronghold. So it could be a little tricky for the Northerners in that area. And next up, we got SSP, Sur Santos Pride. They're on Oak Street and State Street. The thing about SSP, along with the last hood, because this is the second to last one, is both hoods on the deep west go at it with the same neighborhoods. So SSP, again, by Washington Elementary, Oak Street, and State Street, they go at it with well, here's the thing, it's all West Side Mob, right, under the same umbrella, but it's Barrio Almalocos, San Carlos Boys, West Side Mob, and Barrio Horseshoe. So you know what I mean, that's 4 hoods that they got to deal with, but they also got, you know what I mean, the homies from right next, well, not right next door, actually, it's more deep down, borderline of the West Side and Campbell. It's a little far, but not too far, you know what I'm saying, if that makes any sense. So, last but not least, we got Barrio Sur Town Malos, another very famous area to be a stronghold for Sureños. Most have heard of it. Cadillac Drive, Williamsburg, Winchester, Starbird Park. They got a big ass neighborhood themselves. Like I said, it's in the West and in Campbell, and them as well. They go at it with West Side Mob, Horseshoe, Alma Loco, San Carlos Boys. Yeah, man. So that right there concludes all. If I hope I'm not forgetting one. If I'm forgetting one, let me know and I'll make a whole video just about that neighborhood. But I'm pretty sure I got all of them. And like I said, man, this is not to glorify or nothing. This is just everybody has been well, not everybody, but a lot of people have been asking for this video, and I figured, you know what? Let me just drop it already, respectively. Again, no disrespect to the Northerners, even though I know there's gonna be a lot of comments that are gonna say this is all fiction. None of these hoods or people exist, and all kinds of things. I get it. I already know. I already know the backlash, but nevertheless, this is the video. I hope you guys like it. Thank you guys for your time. If you liked it, hit that like button. Leave a comment down under. Subscribe if you haven't already. And you already know what I always say. The goal is to make it out the hood and not stay in it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.